Hello everyone and welcome back to episode of the month. For those of you who haven't seen this show, this is where I go to the end of every month and I talk about my favorite episode of television that came out that month. We've had some great stuff. This is like the final one of 2021. December brought us a lot of great television. Not as great as some other years, but honestly, it ended on a really high note. And the episode I want to talk about for the best of the month is interesting because I didn't really know how to approach this. Like, I have loved this show since it premiered. This is, I think, episode 7 of the series. It's Yellowjackets. Yellowjackets, episode 7. This show has surprised me at every turn. I have been completely entranced by its creation. I think the story is great. I think the narrative it's telling is so fantastic. And basically, I didn't know if I wanted to talk about this on episode of the month just because, should I really get into this? Do I really need to get into this right now? Because I want to do a big video talking about it and like reviewing it all, but I'm like, I should talk about this show a little bit before the end of the year. So that's what this episode's going to be. The reason I picked this episode in particular as opposed to some of the other ones is because I think this episode really highlights the best of what this show is trying to do. You get a lot of great individual moments for the characters, like the younger version of Ty has an incredible narrative arc where she is struggling to be the leader figure that her team knows she is supposed to be, but she doesn't know how she wants to come of that and the struggles that lead her down this road. I think that's very cool to see. And the future version of Ty too has some great stuff, but especially in the future, the stuff I really liked was like the actual chemistry between the Yellowjackets as they're older. Because we haven't got a lot of that this season. You know, we've seen the separate storylines for Shauna and Natalie and Misty and Ty, but they haven't really come together yet in a big way. There's been like separate moments where the groups have met and splintered off and all that. But when you have the three main ones together, I really think the chemistry's there. Maybe it's just because these actresses are just so talented and strong and they're capable in every situation. I love the way they play off each other. It feels like these old friends coming back together to do this thing. And that's really cool to me. I thought that worked incredibly well, and it was an incredibly strong narrative to play with. Again, I will always commend Juliette Lewis in this show just because she is playing a fascinating character who's constantly on the brink of breaking your neck and breaking into tears. And striking that balance is really hard sometimes. And in this episode in particular, she plays it really well, especially when it comes to the relationship with Kevin. I think the way she just owns that, and you just see she's breaking down in front of her friends, but when it comes to the actual relationship with Kevin, she's not breaking down. And then the younger version of Natalie is incredibly fascinating too. I really do like that scene where her and Travis are getting together and you see the way he's trying to figure out how he wants to be intimate and how he is struggling to do that and if it means anything to him, if it does to her. That was beautiful in a kind of just like a quiet way. It didn't overplay itself, which I did enjoy, and it just set up this interesting relationship between the two. And I know some people like the relationship might be weird, but I do think there's genuine love there, and I think playing with that is a great idea because it's a hard theme to get right, and when you can do that right, it's very impressive to see what that's going to look like, and I think it's doing a good job at that. Now, there's a big character in this show, a big actress in here that I have adored for generations. When I say I love this woman, I mean it. Christina Ricci has been, I mean, probably a crush of mine since I first saw her in Addams Family. I love this girl, and I am super, super impressed with the way she is portraying the adult version of Misty. There is just something so cute about the way she is crazy that is so endearing. Like, it is just, you want this, you feel like this girl's nice, and she's smiley, and she's giddy, and she's bubbly, but she looks insane, and she's not killing people yet, and it's just impressive, just the way she plays like the cynical person, tying people up and threatening them like, you know, if I put fentanyl in this cookie and send it to your dad, no one's gonna know because it's untraceable and stuff like that until the body gets killed. Isn't that fascinating? And where would it come from? Because there'd be no puncture wounds inside any of the needles that he gets regularly. It'd be in the desserts that I send to him under your address. Isn't that crazy? And I think that is really weird, but really cool. She's just playing neurotic in a beautifully fascinating way, and I adore every second of that idea. Again, this is her time to shine. I feel like Christina Ricci has made a lot of great choices in some of the projects she's worked on, but this is a different type of project, I think. She's just having fun, being crazy, being the interesting character, and it's working really well. I do enjoy that a lot. There's some other great moments in this episode too. You see, Shauna reveals her pregnancy to Jackie, which is interesting. It's based on lies. And Jackie is another character I'm always impressed by because it could go one way or the other. And the way they're handling her, it's interesting. She's supposed to be the girl we like, and she kind of is, but she's also kind of in her own lane, doing something a little more malicious and evil, which is kind of fascinating to see that storyline go. And in the future, when Shauna's with Adam, like that whole sequence is just seeing a marriage die and a romantic feud blossom. It's gorgeous, and it's so fascinating to see that. But to me, one of the absolute highlights of this episode was kind of establishing this thing that we knew was coming. They're on the island. I don't know if it's an island. They're in the forest. Some of them went to go with Ty to try to get help somewhere. They're walking through the forest. They have established that there's wolves nearby. We have to build up this tension because we've been teasing it for so long. You have to relieve the tension of something happening in your film. You have to have the incident come at some point. And what happens here is a beautifully depicted version of crazy and brokenness, and I really like it. So, Van is a character. She's okay. She gets mauled by a wolf and literally dies. And I'm like, yes, that's what we see. The gore, whatever the budget is for gore on this show, it is spectacular. It looks so good here. I really did adore that. It was just, show me people getting killed by a wolf. We have to see who's dying in the forest and who makes it off, because everyone we've seen in the present timeline of 2021, I think there's more people that got off the I keep wanting to call it an island. I know it's not an island, it's just a forest somewhere. I think more people got out of the forest. I think that's awesome. So show more of that. Give us more of that stuff, like who dies there. Lottie's having some weird predictions of the forest wanting them to stay there. Who's not gonna make it? Who's gonna make it? I love the tension in that. It's really cool to see. Great action in each timeline. It's some fun, just character work there for everybody. This episode was really good, and it was just very strong to see what this show is bringing to us. I enjoyed every second of this episode, and it's the strongest part of Yellowjackets so far, so that is why it is my episode of the month. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.